LinkedIn and YouTube live, pre-bow tie up live, 420. God, could we make this title any longer? Woo!
I'm sure we could.
We're live, and yeah, we could. It feels good to be back. I've been in a crap mood for like the better part of a week, down in the dumps of this thing, and like I'm back. I'm glad to be hanging with you two and entertaining all the people who are suddenly finding themselves at home with like gobs of time on their hands, going, now what do I do? So we brought this, decided to bring this to you live to YouTube and LinkedIn and not Facebook because I'm mad at them right now, and we can get into that later. But that's just they don't get to share in our wisdom today. But without further ado, let's go ahead and introduce our guest today. We'll start with Mr. Sidney Jones because you and I just met.
What's up, folks? How y'all doing?
We're doing great, man. So tell us about you. Who are you?
Man, I am just a guy that lives in Michigan, and I stumbled across LinkedIn, running my business at home for the last 4 years, and stumbled across LinkedIn and said, you know what, let me get on there and just see what's happening and see if I can contribute a little bit, some of my insights and my experience to the platform. And ever since I did that, it's changed my life significantly because I get to touch a lot of people, and it really helps keep me motivated and inspired. So, it's a blessing, man, just to be here and just to be a part of this whole future we're building here on social media and being able to connect to anybody in the world. I mean, that's just absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it absolutely is, and we're glad that you're part of it. So thank you for being here with us today, and we're looking forward to your insights. Alex?
Hello, friend. And also, before I introduce myself, because you guys have seen me before, hello, Hannah. Thank you for saying hello from the audience and being the very first one. You have always been here in the live streams, and it's always nice to see you as well. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Alex McDowell, and I am currently working with Real Impact Solution and the incredible guys there to bring RPA, robotic process automation, across the industries and across the globe. And it's been absolutely incredible, some of the impact we've been able to have as we move forward towards a more virtual workforce and a more digital economy. So thank you, Lee, for having me as always. And Sidney, man, it's always great to be able to hang out with you and chill.
Oh, yeah. It's always a pleasure, bro.
So, Lee, tell us, what the heck are we talking about before? Because everyone clearly can't see the ticker banner at the bottom.
No, we can't at all. So, well, there's this little thing going around, and apparently it's a bug of some sort that's causing people to get their panties in a wad. And so a lot of people are finding themselves for the first time, or for the first time in a long time, working from home. And the challenge is, Alex, you and I have done that for quite a while, and Sidney, we'll get at that. But for those who are unfamiliar with it, that could be very, very difficult. One, to work from home, and two, to manage teams from home. And so, Alex, when you brought this topic to me today and said, "Hey, we want to talk about this. When can we do it?" And I'm like, you know what? Let's do it today because it's so relevant and it's so needed in today's world where everybody's just trying to figure this out.
It really is. And I want to take a brief moment to pause and say hello to Simon and Hannah. Thank you for noticing that CNN style banner. So, Sidney, I know that you are an absolute whiz when it comes to working from home. You're great at leading it and really managing a team. So it's going to be wonderful to get some of your insight, tips, tricks, ideas of really how to manage this change and how to effectively work from home. Maybe both for the people who have the experience doing it. I know Lee and myself, we've been doing this for what, like 11 years maybe. We're doing this, at least just working with you, and then gosh knows how long that you've actually been getting into trouble online. So Sidney, I would love to hear your thoughts on what's the best way to work from home, how do you manage this transition, and how do you really make effective use of it?
Yeah, good question, man. For me, it's been really about capitalizing on really having a tailored environment for how you can operate very effectively. Everybody's going to have their own situation and circumstances and their own living conditions, but it's really about knowing how you work, how to set up daily practices that are going to serve you well, and really being able to have an environment that's going to enable you to leverage your own insights, to leverage some of the activities that you have at home that could give you more energy and rejuvenation. For me, I love to leverage the happiness of my home and my family when they're here, or I like to leverage the peace, the outdoors. Sometimes I'll sit and work outside, take nature walks. I have my whiteboard here. Always have my instruments available for me to take notes and to be more effective. So it's really about, just building that home office, having a home office. I can come in here and I can shut the door and get focused, and then just be able to have a daily schedule of meditation, and then wake up and then be able to check my emails and then get to work and just have it flow just every day, just have a good process to keep me in line.
Man, those are great tips. And I want to touch on a couple of them that were really important. But I do want to take a moment to say hello to some people. Dave Griffith, thank you very much for joining us. It is wonderful to see you today. How are you doing? Rob Howes, you're one of my favorite human beings. Thank you so much for joining us as well. How the heck are you, man? Now, Sidney, when it comes to working from home, you mentioned how important it is to do several things, but you also talked about something that's not quite in home, which is nature walks. Now, that's not something that I really would have thought about doing. I'm typically tucked away in my little tech cave here, but as we are transitioning to working a lot more out of our home office, how do you recommend the best way is to get outside and get active during this time period while still practicing all of our favorite social distancing policies?
Yeah, that's a good question. In my area, it's, I have a lot of nature around me, so it's beneficial because I don't have to worry about being around people or, catching any particular germs or anything. So that helps. I mean, if you're in a very congested environment, that could be kind of challenging, I'm sure. But taking walks outside just really allows me to have an open mind and clear my head. Because oftentimes we have thoughts going on and we may think one solution is the best solution, but stepping outside and taking a walk enables me to think outside the box and come up with creative ideas. And when I get back to the desk, when I get back to the office, it's like, wow, I basically built out the solution on my walk. So when I get back, it only takes me like 30 minutes to an hour just to do something that would have normally taken me, maybe 8 or 9 hours to do. So That's how I kind of use my time effectively. It's incredible. And I've been doing that for the last 4 years. It's been amazing.
That's awesome. Honestly, getting out there, getting in your environment, making sure that you're obviously being safe while you're doing so, but it really making sure that you're focusing on being creative and being your best self, taking care of yourself, and really getting out there, especially at times like this, is definitely important. Now, you also had mentioned just the importance of having, a note-taking device, something to really capture your thoughts and ideas. And so I just wanted to share quickly with the audience something absolutely wonderful that I have found, which in no way am I being encouraged to do this, but Rocketbook. See? Lovely, lovely Rocketbook. Rocketbooks are entirely cloud-based notebooks. And what you can do is you've got all of these lovely pages, which I've got writing all over them, but you've got a page here completely blank. You've got a QR code at the bottom down here. And then you've got different symbols, which I don't know if you guys can see them. I'll try to focus in on them. But you've got these different symbols down here that'll let you, and it's not going to, but you've got different symbols that you can mark to send it to different locations. So if you want to upload your notes to Google Drive, if you want to upload your notes to get sent to you via email, if you want to put them in a Slack or a Discord channel, you can do so absolutely automatically. And it'll automatically read all of the writing on the screen with OCR technology. So the one way that I've used it is I take all of my notes on my Rocketbook, I'll scan them with my phone. The Rocketbook app is phenomenal. I scan them on my phone, it goes to my Google Drive. And not only does Rocketbook have OCR, but Google Drive has OCR. So I can just search for the name of a meeting without having to do any typing whatsoever, and all of it is transcribed for me. So that's a super, super easy way that I've found to stay organized and to really keep track of my stuff, because I was going through paper like mad. So when you talk about saving the environment, taking your nature walks, I want you to see trees while you're on those nature walks, and Rocketbooks are definitely the way to do that. So I'd highly, highly recommend them. They're relatively cheap. I think I picked mine up for like $40 or so, and it saved me countless amounts of notebooks.
Wow, dude, that's absolutely powerful. Because when I'm on my nature walks, I pull my phone out, my iPhone out, I go into notes and I'll, journal whatever insights that come in. And obviously it saves it directly to the cloud. But to your point, it's not really organized in locations where, I have to transfer it still to Google Drive if I really need to leverage it. So it was another idea I was thinking about, like with the whiteboard. I take pictures of my drawings and schematics or whatever ideas I'm putting on the whiteboard, and they go into my iCloud account, but it's still scattered, right? And so if this had like something here, a little barcode or something like that, that would be amazing.
Yeah. And that's the way of the future, right? It's just ways of manipulating and transforming data from the real world or from the digital world into one location.
Yeah, or from your mind.
Yeah, exactly. Because if it's up here, guys, nobody can see it. But if it's out in the open,
That's right.
then we all can use it and learn from it and collaborate on it. And I do want to say hello in the audience to Aish. Thank you so much for joining us. It's wonderful to have you here. How you doing, man? And then,
awesome.
So we've talked about staying organized, taking your notes when you're working from home, taking your nature walks, being creative, and making effective use of your time just in general. So do you have a routine that you follow every day while you're working, or how do you get into that kind of work mindset and separate your home life from your work life?
Yeah, that's a good question. So, early in the morning, I try to rise before sunrise and get that meditation in, because that really just gives me that peace and quiet and solitude. I get into my stillness and get me thinking about what I'm going to do today, but ultimately clear my mind so that I just start off with a blank canvas every day. And then when I get into the groove, I'm energized, I'm ready to focus. And that meditation may take 15, 20 minutes. But then after that, it's checking my emails, looking at what posts I'm going to do for the day. I'm always thinking about trying to create value for others and help others. That's really my purpose in life, I feel. And then I have my clients. So I'm checking my emails, making sure my systems are all set, making sure there's no failures on the platform, and just making sure everything is good to go. And then I start my communication with my team. I love to send a note or something to say what I'm working on today. Good morning, guys. I just want to make sure my voice is heard and my team is rejuvenated from me kicking something off. So the remote work capability with the team is powerful. Because, when you have a message group or WhatsApp group or something where everybody can communicate and connect with, you can share ideas and insights. But at the same time, you can drop a message and, maybe your teammate is not ready to hear it at the time, but they can always go back to it and listen to it. Right. And so that's the power of remote capability. Whereas, if you're in the office, somebody comes into your office, into your cube or whatever, and just interrupts you. It's like, oh, okay. Right. And it's not even recorded. You may listen, but you may be halfway listening because you still got something else on your mind, and it's not captured. It's not like you can replay it. But working at home, I can replay everything because everything's remote. My team's remote. If I want to talk to Alex, boom, it's right there. I can hear his voice. He can hear mine. So it's a beautiful thing.
Man, that is very, very valuable insight, especially when it comes to just how you start your mornings and how you encourage that team collaboration. And we'll touch on that in just a minute, because that's a really important point, how to lead and manage a remote team, which you do tremendously. Do want to take just a second to say hello to a couple of people in the audience. And first, actually, I have to apologize to Ayush for absolutely butchering your name. I'm terribly sorry. I'm horrible with names. But Ayush, thank you for forgiving me, and you are incredible, my friend. I'm glad to see that you're doing great. I'm hoping you're staying safe during this time. Also, Beth, great to see you. And Matthew Perkins, wonderful to see you in here. He said, "Huzzah, Sydney! Glad to see you on live with a candid discussion."
Oh, I can't see the comments now because I haven't got my account. I'm trying to get my account.
So. Hey, that's what you got me here for, man. I will be your absolute connection between us and the audience. So beautiful. For everybody out there in the audience, if you want to just drop in a quick hello, introduce yourself, we'll shout you out live on the show. And if you have any questions for Lee, for myself, or for Mr. Sidney Jones down here, which I'm pointing the wrong way, of course, please feel free to drop those in the comments below, and we'll make sure to get to them. We'll typically try to do a Q&A session near the end, but we'll see how much we have to talk about today. So hello again, my friends, and feel free to introduce yourself below.
Right.
Now, I have a new...
You're doing an amazing job, Alex.
Thank you, man.
You're doing an absolutely amazing job of this. So it's like, I think this is the longest I've been quiet, probably ever.
Ever, yeah. I think this is the longest string of you being quiet on a live that the audience has ever really encountered. So tell us, Lee, what is your secret to working from home? What is your secret to bow tying up every single day and getting out of bed in the morning to keep kicking ass?
Okay, well, see, I'll tell you my secrets, and then here's... Oh, shit, we lost somebody.
We lost Sydney.
We've lost Sydney!
absolutely
Come back to us! Because he's like,
back,
I don't
Sydney.
want to listen to this guy yap about what he does all day. Go away. We don't want to talk to this guy.
Wow, it didn't take long for us to
yeah,
drive
you're just
away,
like, all right, you know what? If Lee's taking the stage for me, then I'm out.
Sorry.
Right?
I
got better things to do.
I clicked log in, and then it took me out the bed like, oh, no, sorry.
So, first of all, you know, it's all of the secrets are null and void sometimes, in my world anyway, because you know, consistency is the only thing that's a consistent problem for me in creating that. Because I've worked from home for 12 years, and I've done for a while. I did the co-working space. Of course, that's not really an option now for people just who are coming into that, right? So, but those challenges do continue, and so, you know, developing systems is really the only way around that. And Cynthia, well, what you're talking about points to creating systems to manage what can otherwise be chaos.
That's right.
Right. Mm-hmm. And so, like you, I mean, I have to have different routines for different days because, you know, my team interaction is very limited. You know, so, but because comes from a creative aspect, you know, because I'm creatively writing, I have to set aside, okay, if I do this on Monday, if I spend 4 days writing copy on Monday, then I'm not going to be worth a crap on Tuesday when it comes to writing copy. So I'm going to have to schedule something else. And then, so that when it comes into creating videos or coming up with ideas for this, that, or, you know, working on the things for Copy Brand New, whatever, you know, so that's been an important way for me, but they're still systems, even though they're structured very, very differently than what you would probably do.
Yeah, right. Everybody's got their thing. I mean, we all have to have our own flow and rhythm that we get into to really make sure that we remain effective is kind of what I'm getting from you.
Yeah. And if you help, if you hire Mark Youngerman to create a theme song for you, too, that helps, because now that I've got that, you guys are going to hear that when Bow Tie Up Live comes out in April. But like I like literally, that's the first thing I do on my phone every morning, man. I get up and I just listen to that. It's about an hour and 12 or a minute and 12 seconds, but like that just fires me up for the whole day. It just makes me want to go out and smack some people. So that's how you get it done.
Now, you mentioned a very, very unique individual that you got to get the intro music to Bow Tie Up Live, and I just want to take a second and allow you to give him a shout out, because I have had the absolute privilege of hearing it before all of you fine gentlemen in the audience, and I just want to give you an opportunity to really say a little bit about that.
Oh man, I think so highly of this guy, and I think he's probably genuinely like, what's wrong with this dude? Because he did some music before when they had Brian Brody and I briefly had a show called Copy That Speaks, which was over on Facebook. But he did a theme song for that. It was kind of in an electro swing sort of vibe, so it was kind of like a retro cool thing, you know, and it really fit with the bow tie and everything. But I decided this time, Mark wrote that, and it was great. And then I came back to him and I told him what he wanted to do, and he's just like, okay. Well, I don't know, but it's so he was like, I'm moving, and some contact me in March, and at the time I was like, okay, well that may mean he's just trying to tell me to piss off, and he doesn't want to be mean about it. I'm like, cool, I get it. So I contacted him in March, and I was just like, hey, do you have time for this? And he was like, yeah, I was actually just about to get in touch with you, and so he took the samples that I gave him and just created something that is just so amazingly me in a way that you guys have probably never seen or heard. That it just blew me away. And Alex, you listened to it, and what do you have to say?
I have to say that if you do not look past the bow tie to see the tremendous, tremendous gentleman with his long flowing locks playing in a metal band by the name of Lee Rowley, then you are missing out.
Long ago.
We all see the bow tie Lee, but we don't see the metal Lee that is rocking out, getting in his zen zone, wearing those very same headphones that you see him in right now, banging out to death metal, writing your copy.
I still got some slap your mama in me. That's all I gotta say. We'll get it done.
Remind me back in my rap days, man. I used to pick up the mic. What up, yo?
Whatever. Yeah, we kind of still have a little fight left in us. So thank you so much. And Mark, thank you for spending the time on it. We went through a few iterations, and he even summed up his death metal growl for me because I was trying to get it done at 5 a.m. and it just wasn't happening. I mean, I tried coffee, I tried Kush, it just started them both together. It just did not work. So he was just like, all right, I got this. So he did me a big death metal bow tie up leading into it, and it's just an energetic piece.
So we've got Lee over here with the metal side of the house, and Sidney, you picked up the mic for a while? Man,
yeah,
I've heard your music video that you dropped, but you got to tell us more about that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, man. We did the mic, man. 13 started when I was 12 years old. I bust my first rap, and after that, it was a catch. I could just flow. I could hit rhymes like that, right on time like that. You know what I'm saying?
I don't, but I can imagine.
We are looking for musical guests for Bow Tie Up Live.
Wonderful.
Well, we're gonna do it. Yeah, in fact, I put Alex. I'm like, hey, can we have bands? And Alex is like, yeah, sure, we can have bands.
We better have bands.
We're gonna have bands. Slick. We're gonna have all kinds of bands, like reggae, rock, rap, whatever the heck you want to do. We're gonna have music,
country,
guests.
You name it.
And then, for a few minutes afterward, you get to chat or whatever, and then we'll do go there and do the thing. It'll be very Conan-esque, except better because Conan sucks. Yeah. No, seriously. I was just musing with my wife the other day, and we'll get back to a topic here in a second about how you don't really have to be good looking to be.
We're actually on a topic now.
Huh? But I think this is relevant. Remote work enables you to tap into all of those skill sets to rejuvenate you. Dude, I can bust a rhyme. It can make me feel good. Next thing you know, I'm back to work. Boom, I'm productive.
That's right.
And I'd just like to say that our ticker says our topic right now is secret band history. We've got metal band Lee and rap god Sidney with us, ladies and gentlemen, and you will not get better than that. So Sidney is going to be doing a really tight rap for us for the intro of Bow Tie Up Live, and Lee is definitely going to summon his best death metal growl from the depths of 4 a.m.
Can we do a mashup? Is that still a thing, or is that
Yeah, it'll just do metalcore. No big deal.
Metalcore. We would do metalcore.
If you want to see metalcore on Bow Tie Up, sound off in the comments below. Let's make it happy, ladies and gentlemen. You heard it here. You heard it first.
All right. Let's get back to the other one topic. Unless y'all want us to keep going with this. I don't know.
So I changed the ticker. I guess we got to change topic now. So I bet all of you are dying to know right now, outside of having a metal or rap career, how you can build a strong distributed workforce. We're working from home. Recently I saw some statistics that they had about 5% of the, what was it, global or was it national population was working from home. And then now that's all the way up to 70-80%. So there's a lot of people out there who are just learning how to work from home here now, how to be a manager at home, and how to really lead a team and foster effective communication when we're trying to work remotely. I know that places like Zoom and Google Hangouts have made a lot of changes to their platforms here recently in response to COVID-19 to make it easier for people to work from home. For those of you who aren't in the loop, Zoom has on its free accounts kind of discontinued the ability to have a call-in line, whereas Google Hangouts Meet has expanded the availability of their service to offer their enterprise level subscription for free, included with G Suite at a basic level, allowing meeting recordings, concurrent participants, and things of that nature. So there's definitely some responses that are going on. And when it comes to building a distributed workforce, I can think of nobody better than you, Sidney, to really give us some effective tips on how do you do it, how do you manage during this time, and how do you work with your team remotely?
Yeah, good question, man. I think a distributed workforce and working remote, building a remote workforce enables you to have leaders, more leaders in your business. And in fact, the whole process of bringing people into your business is totally different than an office environment. I've been an IT director. I've been in, the senior leadership positions, and it's totally different. You bring somebody in, you interview them, and you talk about, the type of work they're going to be doing, the office environment they're going to be in. And there's no relevance in regards to, how they can really work on their own. It's really about bringing them into, your business, into your office space. But working remote, you really have to focus on the human being. Like, you have to know that this person has their home life together, because you're going to be giving them stuff where you say, look, this is your goal and objective. You get this done. I'm not going to micromanage you. And the communication, it has to be there. Like, communication is critical in terms of remote work capability. If you bring somebody in that's not a good communicator, it's not going to work out, because you're not going to be able to stay on track in terms of being connected with them and being able to really transfer information, transfer knowledge. All of that's going to fall to the wayside. Whereas if you focus on bringing people in are great communicators, they can learn a lot of stuff. Like, if they don't have all the skills, but if they're a great communicator, you can really charge them up with a lot of capabilities, because they're open, they have active listening skills, and they can articulate their insights very well. All of that helps you bring good people in that you could put them in diverse roles, and they don't have to be fixed on one mundane, monotonous task. They can actually work on many different things for you. And then they become leaders. They become, somebody else could bring somebody in, another arm of the company that can help grow your workforce, if you will.
Man, that is very powerful. I love that you touched on the ability to really utilize your people most effectively by allowing them to do other work than they typically would do in that role. Because when we're talking about a distributed workforce, the need for very rigid roles all but evaporates. Everybody has their skill set and what they're good at, but the types of things that they can take on is much more open when they're not in the confines of a cubicle. And I want to say just a minute to say hello in the audience to Mr. Jacob. I know that you've commented just a couple of times. Thank you so much for your interaction. And I'm sorry that I did not say hello before. I was caught up talking about our rap god and metal band man right over here. So hello, Jacob, and welcome to the show. Glad that you're hanging out with us. And Ed, thanks for joining us as well. Communication certainly is key. Sidney, the audience is loving the points that you brought up. And I also want to bring up a question. So we've went ahead and put it at the bottom of our screen here. Mr. Matthew Perkins asks, what tools do you use most for collaboration virtually? Sidney, what tools do you use?
Yeah, that's a simple one. Zoom is invaluable. Zoom, we use our message groups through our cell phones, but we also use WhatsApp. Is a great communication tool. Obviously, email, but I mean, we keep it really simple, but we have frequent communication. That way, that way we constantly stay informed. If I'm taking a nature walk and I have some insights, I can immediately get feedback on that insight from my team. I don't have to wait till tomorrow or the next day. I can just, hey guys, I got some insight, and I speak it into the phone. Next thing you know, Rob's giving me insight, Alex giving me feedback, and then you got all these guys contributing. It's like, wow, I got all of these insights in seconds, as opposed to before I had to wait, or I had to send an email and then wait for them to get it. This stuff is instant now.
Yeah, and that's huge, is the way that we can instantly connect. And one of my favorite ways that it's ever been phrased comes from none other than Lee, when he says that we now live in a connection economy.
Yes.
And man, that's what it's all about. You know, when you're talking about collaborating virtually, I'll just chime in here, Matthew. Zoom is greatly beneficial. WhatsApp is also greatly beneficial with its voice messages. But I would just like to give a plug too for G Suite and their tools of productivity. Google Sheets, Google Docs, Google Slides, being able to instantly work on projects with your teams, being able to chat with them and work with them in a collaborative way, even when you're doing your day-to-day work, is absolutely crucial and vital. You know, now we can do screen shares, we can do video calls, we can do voice memos, we can work on the same document all at once. I mean, who would have thought that these things would be possible? Sydney, you can be on your nature walk and you can shoot over a voice message that triggers the team to start working on a document, and they can all collaborate at the same time, man. So everything can happen instantaneously in today's society. And so the need for us to be trapped in a cubicle or in a physical office space is greatly reduced, if not eliminated in most cases.
And another benefit is the fact that you get a heterogeneous culture, because people are in their totally different geographical areas. So they're coming with insights from their location that you're not going to be able to get when you're dealing with people that are just from the one metro area you're working with. So, and that's powerful. And then since you all share the same values, you're grounded on the values, but you're getting different perspectives, which gives you a better capability to penetrate your markets more effectively.
And also, I just want to take a quick second and say hello to Ramona, who has joined us and said, hey guys, from the audience, how's it going? Hope you are having a wonderful and healthy day and that you're staying inside during these times. Beth remarked that they use Google Hangouts for now. Google Chat only works if they use it properly. Can't agree more. Oh my goodness. Even Google Hangouts, if it's not used properly, can be a pain, because people don't realize that they have to download the mobile app or that they have to have a Google account. And that can definitely be frustrating if people aren't using it most effectively. Jacob brings up that LinkedIn is his tool that he uses to stay connected. Man, and I think that's a great point. It's absolutely incredible the way that we can all get connected on LinkedIn, and even right now, being in front of all of you guys. So, Lee, Sydney, do you guys want to talk about maybe some of the ways that you're using LinkedIn to help manage, even a remote workforce, a distributed workforce, finding workers, building a team, managing communication, anything like that?
Oh, it's freaking powerful, because you think about it, all the communication you do with folks on your team, that communication eventually turns into content when it becomes valuable to the broader public, right? And so sharing those insights, getting feedback from the team, and then saying, hey, you know what, let's post that. Or how about we connect with that gentleman or young lady on the phone or on LinkedIn, so we can bring her into discussion, or maybe do a Zoom call. So there's a lot of ways to collaborate using your internal team's communication and then expanding it out into LinkedIn and capitalizing on the ability to expand it more broadly with the LinkedIn family.
Absolutely. And I'll actually just bring up that, Sydney, you and I got introduced from LinkedIn, actually as a kind of a mutual connection from Lee, who introduced me to Rob, and Rob introduced me to Sydney and Wilton and all those fine folks. So LinkedIn is hugely powerful. And I think that as our economy and our day-to-day lives really transition, that getting those connections with people, we can't stop and shake hands at the grocery store right now. So what can you do? You can message somebody on LinkedIn. You can interact with them on LinkedIn. You can foster a community online and help combat that sense of loneliness that we all have staying indoors.
Yeah, no, it's such a blessing to have these social media apps, for sure.
Yeah, LinkedIn is a unique platform in particular because sorry about that.
No, you're good. I'm sorry. Okay. I was like looking for an introduction. Hello, Mark. Thanks for joining us and for bringing up all of those great points. He says that the number of face-to-face communications he's doing online will not only increase now, it will also likely be retained now. It's actually helping people to teach them how to communicate in the new world. And I think that's a really valuable point to bring up is how things really are shifting and changing.
That's right.
Lee, sorry about that.
Yeah, no problem. Have completely lost my train of thought, so I'll circle back to it.
That
No,
is
Happens all the time, man.
I totally agree with that. I mean, this whole communication in terms of using our technology is actually improving people's communication skills. A lot of times we don't see the indirect impacts this technology is having on us, because guess what? It forces us to think about what we have to say. You know, it forces us to also get feedback from others, right? So it's a lot of interaction and collaboration that actually helps us improve working together. Whereas before, you know, I could be doing something in my own little environment, and then boom, I pump it out, and you know, I'm done. Wait 8 hours before I pump it out to somebody. The feedback takes maybe 2 days or a day, you know, and it's like now it's instant. And then you know, me doing what I've been doing on LinkedIn actually has improved my communication skills tremendously. I mean, the way I convey insights to my team is really, that's a lot of that is attributed to my involvement on LinkedIn and commenting on posts, creating videos, and all of those things.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do want to bring up that I have changed the ticker yet again to talk about how has technology changed the way that we communicate. Sydney brought it up and introduced that topic, and I'm sure that the audience, for all of you out there, feel free to sound off and say how technology has changed the way that you communicate. And one thing that I wanted to talk about along with that is that how technology has changed our understanding of communication. Think about the difference between reading a letter versus reading a text message, using LOL at the end of a sentence to show it's not that serious. We now are using smiley faces in our email to say, hey, I'm not mad about this. It's all good. You know, the way that we even really communicate and we interact with each other has changed because of technology, and the way that you can't, you know, I can't hear your voice when you're sending me an email. I don't know your tone. And so it's made us a lot more mindful of the words that we're using and of the choices that we're making when we're figuring out what to say in order to be more effective, really, when we're communicating with somebody. Now, Jacob brought up, Sydney kept me going when I almost gave up. That is a beautiful comment. And Sydney, you definitely are the soul to be able to do that. If you guys haven't seen it already, I encourage you to go to Mr. Sidney Jones's page, and there is a very incredible video of him just dancing with his daughter. And it was one of the most encouraging and empowering things that I've seen in a long time, because it shows that no matter how bad things get, no matter how crazy things are in the world, that we can always still dance, we can still sing, we can still be creative, and we can still have a good outlook. So thank you, Sydney, for that, and for bringing all the joy that you do to the world.
Thank you so much. And I really appreciate that feedback, Jacob. It's really a blessing to be able to just empower and uplift people. You know, and that's the thing, being at home enables me to do that. I mean, it's amazing. I can just pick up my phone and start recording. I'll just feel something. Sometimes I'll break out in tears because I feel so much gratitude, right? You know, thinking about what my mother did, you know, to move us forward and to save our lives from poverty. And, you know, I think about all these different things, or even thinking about, you know, just the ability to help somebody, you know, and then be able to create a video just from that raw emotion, just instantaneously, and push it out. I would have never thought this would be available in our reality. And it is today. It's absolutely amazing.
It's almost like a virtual hug. I mean, literally, you're instantly creating that communication that's like, hey, I've got you. I've got your back. I'm here to encourage. I'm here to inspire. And it happens just like that, which is the snap of a send on your post. And you are that much closer to inspiring literally the world. It's just insane how much we can reach. I mean, just now we've got, we scroll back up to it, Sophia commenting saying, hey guys, greetings from beautiful Greece. Let me tell you, I wish I was in Greece right now, a little outside of Cincinnati, and it is not so beautiful outside, but I really hope that you're enjoying your time. And hello for the first time commenting on this one, Sophia. It's great to have you here. Ed says that he thinks that emojis are a big part of how we replace voice inflection, and it's critical when using the written word. Man, that's a great point. That is just an absolutely beautiful point.
Yeah, we have to acknowledge the need for brevity, though. I mean, I remember being 20-ish and actually being in college and writing actual 3 and 4 page letters to my then girlfriend, and like actually waiting for a week to get a reply in the mail,
Wow.
when I was at college. And it's like that is so different from what life is now, that we have to understand that experience, that different experience affects not only how we communicate, but how much we communicate. Because now there's no way now. I mean, now if we see anything over 3 paragraphs, it's TLDR. Read it. I don't have time for this.
And Lee, you've been a copywriter for a long time, and you've written copy for some pretty big names out there. And as much as you hate gurus, unfortunately, you are one. So maybe you could walk us through how you've even seen copy change and the way that you deliver a message change as technology has evolved.
Oh, wow. Well, a lot of what's going on today, and when people talk about copywriting today, a lot of it is derived from the direct mail era of the 60s and 70s. And into the 80s. I guess not. The 60s was more golden age of advertising type thing, the Mad Men deal. But the 70s and 80s, these direct mail monstrosities would really do the trick, because you had nothing else to do but pick one of the 2 channels or 3 channels you had on TV, listen to your wife bitch, listen to your kids whine, or sit at the table and be like, I'm really busy. This is important stuff I'm reading. Okay? And you would sit and read this 8, 10, 12 pages of just absolute pushy dreck just because it was there. And it came in your mailbox, and it was exciting because you've never seen anything like it before. Then the internet happened, and we decided, hey, let's take everything that we've ever learned about direct mail marketing and shove it at a screen. So you had to use like 10,000 word monstrosities online, and every other friggin' sentence is bolded and highlighted, and the GIF image, it was just this screaming,
white text keywords.
Yeah, it was like,
forget about those.
Oh, yes, hiding keyword stuffing. I mean, hiring people in India to write like 1,000 words for $5 and then throwing it on a web page and being like, hey, it's got keywords in it, so it matters to somebody. But that's actually how that all evolved. And then of course Google was like, all right, look, we gotta clean house here. The pandas and the penguins and the black ops pigeons and all of those things they wrote. The black ops pigeon algorithm change was the worst. Nobody ever heard of that one. But the black ops pigeon, yes. That was what went down after the panda and the penguin, and it just didn't suffice. So the black ops pigeons just went and snuffed out the keyword marketers, and they were responsible of the demise of properties like eHow and where you could learn how to change the light bulb on a 1967 Ford, and then go to another article about how to change a light bulb on a 1968 Ford.
Yeah.
Those were the golden days.
It was all drag. Yes, black ops pigeons. Mm-hmm. And then, so now what we've got is where people they're keeping their time. Like, we're getting bombarded with thousands and thousands of marketing messages a day. I get 300 to 400 emails a day.
Do you get emails that are all have COVID-19 or Corona in the title? Because that's all I get right now.
Oh my God. So first, things have to be shorter, to the point. Get to the point. What is it? How can I get it? Why do I want it? Let's go. And even in your communications, when you're making social media posts, you need to be cognizant of, how am I taking people through the story? Is it long enough? How am I going to earn this particular segment of their time and their attention? Even if it's only 30 seconds or 45 seconds to read through a post, there damn well better be a payoff, or they're not going to read the next one.
And that's where I think you've talked a lot about delivering meaningful content and authentically connecting with people. And I think that that's huge, being brief and to the point in your communication, but making sure that it's actually powerful and that it's going to resonate with your audience.
Right. You could get away 10 years ago. You could get away with a 4,000 word sales page. A couple of years ago, a client challenged me to write a 300 word sales page, and it took me 3 weeks, and I don't know how many iterations, and a lot of coffee and fussing and just general angst. But we did it, and it worked, and it was 296 words. And like 10 years ago, that would have been unheard of. But now you got to get your point across that quickly.
Yeah, and that's key. I mean, you think about it, that technology is moving so fast, but also people are moving fast, and transactions are fast now.
Mm-hmm.
So people have less time to focus on your content. So it really has to hit them right in between the nose, right? It has to, has to hit right between the eyes, matter. So with that, it's like everything matters. All the time you use matters. And that's why, even going back to working remote, the travel time to travel to an office and then travel back home, you just lost about 2-3 hours, depending on, it's like now, since I've been at home, it's like, man, I don't have to do the getting on all these different clothes, and I got to prepare my lunch. I got to figure out, none of that stuff has to happen. So you got efficiency, and that's why using time wisely is so important.
Yeah.
And that's why we have changed the ticker yet again, ladies and gentlemen. We are now talking about how can we save time while working from home. And just a brief reminder, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or dirty remarks, please save the dirty remarks to the end.
All right.
Drop everything else in the comments below.
Yeah, sure.
You were about to say something.
Well, so first of all, I'm a huge fan of delivery services because, one, it's giving people the opportunity to make money right now, and two, I don't have to do it. So, to me, it's worth $10 to not drive to the grocery store, wander around for 45 minutes trying to figure out what the F I'm looking for, and then go to the checkout counter and then be around people and shove and get hit by people with carts and dirty looks and blah, 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 blah. When I could be home doing something to further my business and further what I want to create in the time that I have here. And to me, it's it's worth $10 and giving somebody else the opportunity to make a living to not mess with that crap. So for me, delivery is key. Everything. Bring it to me. I want weed delivery in Ohio. I know that it's not legal yet, but I want that.
It's here in Michigan.
I know it is.
Here. Yeah.
But I know, and that's why you guys got it all over now. But I know right now, I want, when I need my medical cannabis and I need it now, call 877-STASH-NOW.
877-STASH-NOW.
I love that.
I love it. Are you sure it's because you don't want to interact with people, though, Lee?
That is true. I am perfectly comfortable with social distancing. This is fun.
Social distancing's been a norm for you for a while, huh?
Close social distancing is a lifestyle.
Yeah, it really is. It's a way of life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I probably, I think I could say the same thing here as far as I really don't have any other contact but the family most of the time, unless I'm taking a client out, to eat or something like that. But yeah, it's mainly online. The connections happen online. The team is online. It's beautiful.
And I think that not only do we have delivery to save time, but we also have microwavable meals that don't stink up the entire office. If your house smells like fish, it's completely okay. If your office smells like fish, it's not so good. So you're going to save some time not getting that annoying coworker coming to your desk and interrupting what you're doing and asking you if you put fish in the microwave when you clearly have it sitting on your desk and you're proud of it.
And speaking to that, time is money. So saving money also happens through remote work. One, gas money. I used to spend, about $200-300 a month on gas driving downtown. And then saving money on eating out. I'm healthier now. I eat right because I have buy my own food, my vegetables. I don't have to worry about, my salads made. My wife, she's a great cook. So we save a lot of money not having to commute all the time just to get things done.
Absolutely. The commute is huge. The wear and tear on the car,
and the environment
adds up. The environment, yes. We've talked about that. Guys, if we're killing the environment, Sidney can't go on his nature walks, and I can't learn to go on a nature walk. So please.
That's a big problem.
Be responsible. It's a huge problem.
And I can't watch nature videos on YouTube.
Exactly. There won't be nature to
No,
video.
drone footage. No, I mean there won't be anything left to film.
That's right. You have to go back to the old footage.
Okay, so we had if I can pop in a question real quick.
Yeah.
And this is irrelevant. This was over on the other thread where I announced this thing, and I want to make sure I get it in because Dave Griffiths, who definitely did not ask this question, will smack me. He says, "Do you listen to the My Brother and Me podcast? And if so, what do you think?" And I had never heard of it before, but I went over and checked it out. So if you get over it, like all the episodes are on YouTube, and they're fairly entertaining. I haven't quite grasped what the hell they're about, if it's about anything, but why not, man?
Do it. Watch the podcasts. Live a little.
I think they were talking about hookers at one of the episodes that I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It was something involving hookers. So I'm like, yeah, I can definitely revisit this in depth at a later time.
So I want to bring up really quickly that we have changed the ticker, not in response to Lee talking about hookers.
Okay.
But if you guys do have questions, please feel free to sound off below. We have the terrific Mr. Sidney Jones from Real Impact Solution and everyone's favorite Lee Rally. I was pointing the wrong way. There's Lee. And then myself, I'm Alex. We've got tech, we've got copywriting, we've got consolidated data reporting, and a beautiful human being in Sydney. So please, anything and everything that you might need, ask questions below.
Yeah, what more do you need, people?
Yeah.
You got it all.
There's like a 15, 20-second delay, so we're not going to know for a minute.
Oh.
Just so you guys know. So we can go back to talking about podcasts. On the note, do you guys watch podcasts regularly? If so, what recommendations would you have?
I don't watch podcasts regularly. I have watched a few podcasts that I've enjoyed, but it's really been a while. So I honestly can say I don't really regularly.
Lee, do you watch podcasts? Nope. That's a strong no. I don't watch podcasts either. I'm very sorry to admit. It seems like we're a podcast-less friends. I'm very sorry. It's just not our thing.
In a podcast format, no. But you know what? I figured out that we have YouTube on one of the televisions probably 7 to 9 hours a day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we do. It's more of a television. We're on it more on television than we are on laptop or phone. Now, a lot of that is like sleep music. These big, long, like 8 or 9, these long meditation music type thing, whatever. So a lot of that will go at night, but still, we watch a lot of programming on YouTube now on television. So it's important to keep in mind how we're changing our viewing habits. And this is going to be affected by what's going on right now because, media streaming is becoming more important and a more central part of our lives now because it's how we're getting our information and our entertainment. When we don't have the opportunity to go out and get it and socialize other ways. So, we have to keep that in mind as well.
And I think that you touched on a really, really important topic, which is, while we are working from home, while we're all in self-quarantine, how is information even going to be delivered? And the answer is very easy: online. We're getting all of our information online. We're looking at YouTube for the news. We're doing searches on Google to find out what's going on in the world, and we're looking at the news up at the top. So it's never been more important to really make sure that you're mindful of the content that you're consuming and that you know what to trust and that you know how to really analyze a piece of content to determine if it's something you should be using. Because there's a lot of misinformation out there. There's a lot of misinformation out there, and there's a lot of beautiful information out there. So always be mindful.
Yeah, and then look for multiple perspectives. If you're gonna, get something from one source, make sure you're checking it against another. But data is king, man. Where you get your data from, where you get your information from. We're capturing data all the time. My watch is always capturing information. I could pretty much go back 3 years and see what my heart rate, how did it fluctuate, so you can get information about yourself as well as information about the world and the environment, depending on which sources you tap into. So it's all about your curiosity and how inquisitive you are and how you're going to use that information to advance you forward in your own life.
And this has brought us to Tech Tip Thursday, which is my favorite part about Thursdays when I am streaming with Lee. So
Ooh.
All right.
when it comes to content consumption, it's important to know that there are two different ways that the things that you are searching for are categorized. There's what's called a keyword search, and there's what's called an intent search. And in the old days of the internet, it was solely based on keywords, which is why we had issues with keyword stuffing and changing the text color to that of the background to try to tell Google, hey, I've mentioned the word Chevy Equinox like 800 times, so clearly this is all about a Chevy Equinox. But Google got smart, and Google figured out that there are certain keywords that's what you're looking for, but there's this whole other side of search called an intent. What do you really intend to find? If you're entering the search how to move to Europe, you're not looking for European regulations on moving out of the state. You're looking for how to move into the state. And so Google has invested a great deal of time, money, effort, and energy into the technology to better understand the way that people are searching so that they're getting what they're intending to find. Now, this does open you guys all to something very, very dangerous, which is the silo of information into what you are looking for. If you are looking for the percentage of deaths for corona, you're gonna get a percentage of people who have died from corona, the overall survival ratio. If you're looking for the impact that corona has had on Italy, you're gonna get the exact thing that you were searching for. So you have to be very mindful that if you want to get different perspectives, you need to make sure that you're searching holistically. You need to make sure that you're searching for trusted information and that you're searching for data that's going to be value to you and providing both sides and not just what you want to know. Anyone in the world can get any statistic that they ever want. Data is so valuable, but data is so manipulative. You cannot trust every piece of data that you have because the difference between using a percent and using a number is absolutely mind-boggling. You could say there have been 100 cases, but if it's 100 cases in a school that had 100 people, and that's a 100% infection rate, you've got a huge, huge, huge difference.
That's right.
Please be careful out there and be mindful of the information that you're consuming. And that's it for Tech Tip Thursday from me.
Wow.
And I have a proprietary methodology to help you with that. If you've not tried it, there are 3 simple steps. Stop, breathe, use your brain. That's all it is. It's not that hard. The information that you're getting, stop, breathe, use your brain.
I agree with that. And that's what keeps me grounded in a digital economy that can quickly inundate us with information. Because the ability to slow down, create space, cut off everything, take a breather, clear your mind. So when information does come in, it comes into a clear mind, and then you can assess it in the right way. The problem is a lot of people they're over-informed. They're constantly getting information. It's like you got to unplug. You got to snap that off. Go take a walk, get in some nature, get into something natural. So when you get the information again, you're looking at it from the right angle. You're having a more stoic approach and you're clear-headed. You're not just reacting. Oh my God, guess what happened? You're like, wait a minute, breathe. It's like you just said, breathe, dude.
Take a minute, stop, breathe, and use your brain. Actually, I'm going to put that on our stream for just another minute because this is a mantra that you should live by. Stop, breathe, and then use your brain. Don't try to use your brain before you've stopped and breathed, okay? It's just not going to work out very well.
That's right.
Oxygen starved brains do not work.
Yes.
That's right.
This is a fact. Not well, anyway.
But keep breathing while you use your brain. That's another important thing to do.
If you see bright colors, again, back up a step.
It could be better.
Back up to the breathe part.
Yeah, unless you're in a pool, you're underwater. I understand you have to hold your breath, but you got to come up for air.
Water.
Yeah. Hopefully, you're not underwater when you're contemplating whatever it is.
To clarify.
All right, so I know we're gonna have to wrap this up because I've got a grocery delivery coming.
We're almost to the hour mark.
We are, and I'm surprised no one's been like, "Look, guys, enough." No, you guys are great. I'm not sure what value I'm providing here, but anyway, so. The one thing I do want to point out is that when you're working from home, it is hard to shut everything off. And that can be the collaboration, the comments, the PMs, the DMs, the pings, the whistles, the beeps, the whatever. It can go on 24 hours a day if you let it, and it can drive you absolutely insane. And that's something I'm totally guilty of, is just that impulsive, oh shit, my phone dinged. Oh, what was that?
Yep.
Oh, wait, what was it? Oh, okay, it's something, what? And then there's the notorious, I don't know what the hell dinged because I can't remember what means what. So I'm scrolling through all of the notifications, trying to look for a timestamp that shows, what the hell was that all about? What did I, it's like, at the point where, okay, set it. Mm-mm. Set it down. Stop, breathe, use your brain.
Mm-hmm.
Be mindful of the notifications and the overwhelm that can easily do it. And
Great.
Lee, if you are good with it, I think we should take just a moment and allow everybody maybe 30 seconds to be primary main focus on screen as we go through our final thoughts.
You go right ahead.
Me? I don't want to go first. That is...
It was your idea.
Yeah, well, Lee,
Damn,
you're in the main focus right now.
All right. Well, see, my office manager says that we got to wrap this up, so you got to get the hell out of the studio because he wants my chair. Guys, just chill. Like, I know that everybody's in a panic right now, and there's a lot of things going on. We're taking it day by day. We're all trying to figure this out. So chill and be a little more empathetic and tolerant of people who aren't chill, because there are some people who are just totally losing their motor truck and minds right now, and they need our empathy and they need our understanding.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful said.
That was absolutely beautiful. And now we are going to transition to Mr. Sidney Jones. What are your final thoughts, my friend?
Yeah, my final thoughts is try to see the positives in this situation. If you're social distancing, I know it got some people stressed. But realize we're in a state of evolution, of transformation. There is something huge that's going to happen out of this. One, I believe there's going to be great environmental impact in terms of us living more efficiently and learning how to be more remote, and also having a stronger appreciation for human connection. By us having this social distancing right now, we're going to learn to appreciate people, human beings, and actually being able to appreciate being in connection, whether it's remote or in person, because of the fact that, this stuff happened overnight. So imagine if some other catastrophe happens. So we got to appreciate the time we have with each other. And like Lee pointed out, being empathetic, compassionate, caring, kindness is the new currency. If you want to be wealthy, you want to be rich, you want to be happy, kindness is the way.
And now I guess we'll transition over to me for my final thoughts. And I just want to say that both Lee and Sidney are offering some of the best advice you are going to get. It's absolutely incredible the amount of knowledge that these guys have and the value that they bring in these discussions. So I certainly hope that everybody listening that we've been able to say hi to, with the exception of Ian, hey Ian, welcome, that you've got some value out of it. And the last thing that I want to say is just please hang in there. It will be okay eventually. Sidney's right when he says kindness is the new currency, and there's never been a more important time to really consider your fellow man. It's so easy to get sidetracked and to get distracted by everything that's going on that we really forget to stop, to breathe, and to use our brain and to consider what everybody else is going through. We're all going through a hard time. We're all affected. People are losing their jobs. Businesses are shutting down, and some people don't know how they're going to make it the next day. So be courteous, be compassionate, and care above all.
Impeccably said, my friend. Thank you so much.
Beautiful. Thank you, guys.
Right. Well, guys, I went over an hour. I think this is the first one that over an hour. But thank you for joining us for Thursday, 420. And we'll be back again for another one. And, Cindy, it was a pleasure meeting you. Thank you so much for sharing your insights.
Likewise.
Alex, thank you for sharing your wisdom and running the controls. And we got to figure out this double banner thing where, if you put that second banner, then, I can't see Sydney. So
Sydney just
he's gotta kind of go for groundhog thing over when we do that. So we're gonna have to raise your mic a little bit when we go there. So or something. We'll figure it out.
We'll have to play with things and
we're not.
Sweet.
I'm getting dizzy.
Oh, that's cool.
Lee's got to move himself.
Look at that! Wow.
Look at us. We're funky. I love it.
This is not social distancing.
No, this is not. We're way too close.
You were like back over to the other side.
Back off me for a minute, man.
You're in my space.
Ooh.
Man,
You're in my
come
space.
on.
Beat it. All right, guys.
We're back.
Woo! All right, we'll see you next Thursday, 420. Goodbye.
See
Be
ya.
safe. Be well. and
See
all
ya.
that stuff.
Be well. Peace.